Good morning. As I told you last week, I've spent the week sort of reevaluating the class and the way we're approaching things, and I'm making some changes to the syllabus, which I'll send out to you in a formal announcement later in the week. But let me go back and talk about the original plan. Remember, this class is called Argumentation and Critical Thinking Through Literature. And so my original conception was that we would take three roughly equal units, short story, poetry, and drama, and we would work through each of those roughly equal units in that order. And I took, as I said at the very beginning of the class, I took chapters 1 through 5 in the textbook as more or less already having been read, because that's the kind of stuff that you learn in freshman composition in English 1A or wherever you took freshman composition. So we skimmed through those very quickly because that's the material, to my mind, of another earlier class. So I was thinking during the week about the folks whose essays sort of just degenerate into plot summary and haven't done very well because of that problem. And so I was thinking a lot about those, and I thought it's very likely that the reason people choose plot summary over more in-depth analysis is maybe we've forgotten how to make an argument, which is part of what's taught in those earlier composition classes. So it seems to me the best thing for you in terms of your long-term education, for most of you, is that we need to go back and talk about those chapters in depth, because there appears to be a pretty big hole right there for a lot of folks that needs filling in. So chapters 2 and 3 in the textbook are the material for the next 2 weeks. Here's my proposal. We're going to take 2 weeks and we're going to review basic argumentation, logical fallacies, and review that stuff that was taught in English 1A, and there will be some discussions and some small assignments that I'll ask you to show me that you're grasping the material, or that it's a review. It will be a review for most of you. Most of you will find this little unit fairly easy. And then after the 2 weeks, we will take up the poetry unit as planned, and then we will simply eliminate the drama unit. Drama plays have both narrative and poetry in them, so if you grasp short fiction and you grasp poetry, you'll grasp most of what you need to know in terms of drama. So, and it would not be, I think, fair to you, even if it were possible, to push ourselves through a third unit. So I think we're going to eliminate that one instead, in place of, we're going to replace that unit with this little 2-week unit in critical thinking and argumentation. And again, that's because it seems like a lot of folks are still struggling with how to write an argument, and that's what you need to be able to do. So 2 weeks on argumentation, then a 4-week poetry unit, and that should leave us a week or so at the end to finish up your capstone project. I am putting up the capstone project assignment sheet in this week's module. Please don't freak out. It's not due until December, but some folks are asking to have the criteria so you can have them in your hands, and so there it is. Okay. And the other thing is totally unrelated. I need to ask you to do me a favor. I want to be able to help and assist you and guide you in the novel groups that you're working on, but I found out I can't subscribe to those. When I subscribe to a forum, I get a notification in my email that tells me there's something new there, and I can go directly to it and review it in the regular forums. Unfortunately, in these study groups, I can't subscribe to them, and I've requested that Canvas make this function available to all of us. But anyway, if you put something in your novel discussion group, I won't know that it's there unless I go and open every one of those 14 discussion groups to see if there's anything new. I've got to go down the list and open every one of them, which takes forever. So what I'm going to ask you to do for the time being, for the duration of this semester, is if you put something new up in your novel group and you want me to go and look at it, I need you to send me a message in the Canvas message function telling me there's something in your novel group. Tell me what group it is, and then I'll be happy to go and look at it and advise and guide as best I can. But for me to have to go and open every one of all 14 of them, and most of them have nothing in them, that's a big waste of time. So I'm sorry that the system works that way, but it does work that way. It's not a mistake. That's the way it works. And until I can prevail upon Canvas to change that, I just need you to let me know. Okay, so watch the assignments for the week, the usual discussions, and there'll be a little assignment or two that I'll ask you to upload. Again, I think the next couple of weeks should be fairly much review for most of you. If you've never heard of how to write an argument, you don't know what persuasion is, and you're confused on logical fallacies and things, then you'll have to work to get up to speed a little bit. But it shouldn't be that difficult for you. Okay, so I will see you in the forums. Bye-bye.